I know rents aren't going to increase. Well, rents are increasing. Tonight, the numbers that I've just presented for, and again, let's just talk about Darwin, right? If you're renting a house in Darwin, a year ago, $680 was the median rent. It's now up to $760. Now, I love Darwin, but there's not a whole bunch of brand new $1 million properties which have just been dropped into Fanny Bay that have pushed that number up. It is just the cost of paying off a joint right now. As for a unit, that's 550, it's gone to 650. That's year on year. But rents weren't going to increase as a result of government policy, Jacinta.
Well, and, again, another broken promise from this particular government, and it's the trifecta of failure that they've been able to bring about, which is fewer homes, higher rents, and less confidence. I mean, housing isn't just about supply, it's about confidence, ultimately. The Prime Minister was asked whether he would guarantee that they wouldn't tank the housing market. I mean, we've got a situation now where if house prices drop, below 10, 20%, then we're moving into negative equity area for first home buyers where, their homes are worth less than their mortgage. They are turning the housing market upside down. And when asked as to why they haven't done anything about what they have done is ensure that rents have increased, is that their response during question time the other week when we were in question time was, well, we want people to buy homes. Not everyone is in a position to be able to do that. And with the way the market's going, confidence is absolutely dipping and heading south. Our investors aren't going to be confident enough to invest. We know that it's small businesses that are those that will be building homes, and they're not confident because this government is taxing aspiration in this country. So when they're not confident, you've got delays in starts for builds, but you've also got small businesses who aren't investing and bringing on more tradies, who aren't investing in apprentices. They are absolutely managing to destroy the joint and taking all of us with them.
Here is a number that ought to make your stomach turn. In Darwin, house rents have surged from $680 a week to $760, while units have climbed from $550 to $650. That is not a typo, and it is not inflation catching its breath. That is a housing market in free fall dressed up as a soft landing. And today, we are pulling back the curtain on exactly how we got here. Quick favour before we dive in, if you are the sort of person who likes seeing behind the curtain of Australian politics, hit that subscribe button and tap the notifications bell so you never miss a breakdown like this one. Thank you. Now, let us get stuck into it.
Now, I've got to show you this, which was the Prime Minister with Narendra Modi, the leader of India, today. Now, obviously, it's a big event which is taking place in Melbourne tonight. Great, awesome. I'm pleased that people are able to see a visiting world leader. Great, fine and fair enough. But the Prime Minister, it looks like he's going to light another candle before he changes his position here, because remember the absolute shellacking that he would give to you or anyone else who previously has advocated for nuclear energy. Yet today, the big announcement was us giving more uranium to India for nuclear energy, which was described by the President like this.
We have signed an important agreement today on nuclear energy. This will pave the way for uranium supplies from Australia to India and give our clean energy objectives fresh momentum. Our cooperation in critical minerals is important for our strategic security and clean energy transition.
Can you believe this? Literally, if it's the opposition, it was three-eyed fish and the roof's going to cave in. But if it's helping out another country who are saying this is the way of doing it cleanly, it's a press conference.
Start with housing, because it is the crisis everybody feels, but nobody in Canberra seems able to fix. The federal government keeps insisting the market is stabilising, that relief is around the corner, that the numbers will turn. Meanwhile, actual renters in the Northern Territory are watching their weekly bill balloon by more than $80 for a house and $100 for a unit. Picture it like a household trying to run on a leaking bucket. You can keep pouring in reassurances, but the water is still draining out the bottom. Vacancy rates in Darwin have dropped to record lows, builder confidence has slumped, and first home buyers are stuck watching a door that keeps swinging shut before they reach it. Now, here is where the story gets properly tangled, because just as families are being squeezed on rent, the government has been busy signing off on a very different kind of resource deal. Australia has now finalised an agreement to export uranium to India, unlocking a supply chain more than a decade in the making, all so India can power its own civilian nuclear energy ambitions. Let that sink in for a moment, because the irony is almost cinematic. We are digging up one of our most valuable energy resources, shipping it offshore and helping another nation build the very technology we still will not allow within our own borders. It's a bit like refusing to install solar panels on your own roof while selling the neighbour discount panels at cost price.
Oh, look, this is the hypocrisy of this ridiculous Prime Minister once more, where he would rather see another country do well using our resources, the cleanest, greenest toward, even toward net zero, if that's what they're trying to achieve, which I doubt that they are for India. But we're not even allowed to touch our uranium supplies here in the Northern Territory anymore because our Prime Minister stopped that from going ahead in the top end. And we have incredible resources in terms of uranium in our own country. And we've got a Prime Minister who's not even seeking to invest in our own ability to process uranium for the purposes of clean, green energy within our own country, reliable energy, mind you, given that he made this, again, promise which has been broken toward $275 in a reduction in our energy bills, in our electricity bills. And yet, this is the hypocrisy, utter hypocrisy of this bloke, that he's going to ship it off to India for another country to be able to enjoy, so they can have clean, green energy and reduce cost of electricity in their own country. But he's allowing Bowen to continue ahead to ruin our pristine rainforests with these transmission lines, to ensure that the cost of energy for regular Australians, everyday Australians, for small businesses, for manufacturers, continues to be high. But hey, we'll help out India. We'll help out our mates over there in India. What an utter...
And that brings us to the elephant in the living room, the 2,500 the $275 elephant. Remember the promise? Electricity bills would fall by $275 under this government's watch. Instead, households have watched prices climb, hardship notices pile up, and energy debt spread across the country. So while raw uranium heads offshore to fuel someone else's clean energy future, Australians at home are still opening power bills that keep getting heavier, with no local processing industry, no nuclear pathway of our own, and precious little to show for the promise that started this whole conversation. Layer onto that the transmission line projects being pushed through contested and environmentally sensitive land, all in the name of the energy transition, and you start to see the pattern. This is not one unlucky year or one unfortunate portfolio. This is what happens when short-term political optics keep beating long-term strategic thinking. Announce a deal, secure a headline, shake hands for the cameras, and leave the follow-through for another term, another minister, another press release. Diplomacy is easy to photograph. Delivering cheaper power and affordable rent is much harder to fake. So what ties Darwin's rental crisis to a uranium handshake in Melbourne? Vision, or rather the total absence of it. A government that can negotiate international energy partnerships but cannot stabilise its own domestic energy market. A government that can talk up housing affordability while investor and builder confidence keep sliding in the same direction, downward. These are not separate stories. They are the same story, told in two different settings, and the moral is depressingly consistent. Aspiration makes for a great slogan, but it does not pay anyone's rent. None of this means throwing the whole system out or pretending every policy is a disaster. Trade relationships matter, and energy diversification is a legitimate long game. But legitimate long games still need honest scorekeeping. And right now, the scoreboard shows rising rents, a broken bill promise, and resources heading offshore faster than solutions are arriving at home. Australians do not need more modelling and more talking points. They need outcomes they can actually feel in their bank account. Thank you for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.